In my previous video, I talked about 3 advantages that larger people have over smaller people in terms of fighting. Today, we'll look at 3 advantages that a smaller person can have. The first really big advantage is speed. Now, a bigger person can actually move faster than a smaller person, but generally speaking, a smaller person just has less weight to them, so it takes a lot less energy and a lot less time for them to move. More speed means you can move in and out of range faster. You can dodge strikes a little bit faster. You can maneuver a position a little bit quicker. And you can actually use that speed as an advantage to generate force, because speed is a component of power. And the faster you are, the more likely you can slip in a technique before they can block you or defend against it. This doesn't necessarily outweigh the advantage of weight on power or weight on applying a technique, but it does have a certain tactical advantage. The second advantage is mobility and agility, because as a smaller person, it's just easier to move your body around than a bigger person. What that means is you can move around with a bit more ease. You can move in and out of range with a bit more ease. You can switch directions. You can switch your positions with a lot less effort than the bigger person has. And that can have a really, really big advantage when it comes to setting up techniques, dodging techniques, or just tricking the person out. The third advantage would be endurance or stamina. As a smaller person, you just burn less energy moving around, so it's easier to move around for a long period of time and still have a good gas tank. And so if you have a prolonged fight, if you can just keep on moving and keep that action up, you can gas out that bigger person, and then when they're tired, you can go in because you have an advantage at that point. So if you're a smaller person, speed, mobility, and endurance can make a huge difference in your fight game. You can actually make yourself still dangerous and formidable to the larger person, but be careful, that bigger person still has advantage. Now keep in mind though, if you're in the grappling range, those 3 advantages diminish quite a bit, because if the bigger person's holding on to the smaller person, they've already reduced the effect of their mobility and the effect of their speed as well. So they still have the endurance aspect there, but that gets pretty tricky. Now if we're talking about a really large skill disparity where the smaller person has a lot more skill and a lot more tactics than the larger person, that's a different story. That's another advantage that the smaller person can exploit, assuming that that person's not as skilled as you. Unfortunately, it's harder for the smaller person, but you still have some advantages.